Welcome back to Optimal Play. I am Brandon, and I'm here tonight with the privilege again to chat with my friends behind the game Deck of Wonders. We previewed it, both some gameplay and took a look at some art, walked through some of the cards, did a bunch of videos about that around it during its Kickstarter last year, and it is still available for late pledges. And the team is still doing great work, revealing parts of the game, including art, and we have an art reveal tonight as well. But without further ado, I want to bring in designer of the game, Dennis Furia. If I can correctly... it's already
there we
screwing
go.
up everything. Okay, here we are. We've got Dennis Furia down there, designer
Right
of Deck
here.
of Wonders.
Hey.
And Lauren Brown, illustrator of Deck of Wonders.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome back, both of you. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Mm-hmm.
It is Monday of Labor Day weekend as we're recording this. Anyone get up to anything good before we get into game talk?
Oh man,
I got into working on this game. That's what I did all day.
I think I had a big enough weekend for everyone. The second was my 10-year wedding anniversary.
Wow, congratulations.
So thank you very much. So we try to do every year something themed with the traditional gift, and 10 years is 10, and we're like, 10 sucks.
Ooh.
Like, what are we gonna do with 10?
Yeah.
Like
pies, I guess.
Yeah, we were like that all, we couldn't figure something out. So we wound up doing the initials TIN and did dates like every night of the weekend, going to a different restaurant that started with the letter.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah. So it's just, we got 3 kids and it's hard to get out. And so this was an excuse to just like go overboard with like out every night, babysitters every night, and having a ton of fun and just celebrating the anniversary all weekend.
That's amazing. I'm still 6 years or so out from my 10th, but I'm gonna remember that.
You'll blink and it will be there.
I'm sure. But hopefully I'll still remember that 10 anniversary idea, because that's really clever.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So that was me.
You had a better weekend than I did. Here it was a bunch of, it was preparing for vacation, so that's good, and getting some dogs to the vet for various maladies. So
Are they okay?
They're fine. Some ear infections and that kind of thing. I think I have 2 corgis. I think at least one of them has cameoed on a previous Deck of Wonders.
That's right. Yes.
Video because
you were ready to fight me because I said a corgi was only +1/+1.
That's right. Yeah. There is at least one corgi with beautiful art in Deck of Wonders.
Yeah.
Are there now that a bunch more art has seen the light of day and even more has been completed? Are there any more corgis? Have you taken my advice to like maybe just like quintuple the corgi count?
There are no more corgis, but there are more dogs.
There are more dogs. They're absolutely more dogs.
Actually,
we had to spread the love.
Yes.
I think I did see some like dog concept art on there might have been like a Kickstarter backer update called A Good Boy, something like that.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah,
so there's reveal that card.
There's a card. It's a card called Canine Companion. And it too gives +1/+1, but as a spell to any creature. So
okay.
Yeah, I was actually filling in all the flavor text today, and there was one that almost made me cry. Thanks, Dennis. Appreciate that.
Oh, my bad. I had to go sentimental.
Wow. I don't think any of the flavor text that I've seen yet has been like tear jerking.
No,
so I'm curious.
I think you'd have to know the story behind it, though.
That's the whole thing. Yeah.
So we had a very generous backer get super excited for the game and want to sponsor some art. And his dog Holly had passed away several years ago, but was like a huge part of his life. And we kind of worked her into the art. She's the inspiration.
Oh, wow.
And you can actually see the reference photos that Lauren did an amazing job with. So I'm gonna mangle here. I'll look at the exact text. So here's an additional world premiere reveal. Why not?
Wow. All right.
We're getting 2. We're doing it live.
So the flavor text for Canine Companion on the regular card is it's dangerous to go alone on the tame side and take this friend on the wild side. So basically, because the Kickstarter did so well, there was a stretch goal to have unique flavor text on upgradable cards. So one copy of each card of each minion and spell is actually upgradable, and that has unique flavor text now because people came out and supported the game. So the flavor text for Canine Companion, the upgradable version, on the tame side says, excuse me, on the tame side it says, "Was I a good girl?" And then on the wild side it says, "No, you were the best girl." So
now I'm tearing up.
And like after knowing that story, and as soon as I saw that flavor text, I was like, "Oh God!"
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
Yeah. Well, it was so much fun to kind of give Holly that legacy, and she'll be running with you as you rampage through the world of Elladale.
Yes.
That's amazing. I can only hope to have my dogs memorialized in a great game like that someday.
I mean, just claim that the corgi is yours, and you're
That's
good.
right.
That's true. That's true.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if yours is a Pembroke or a cardigan. I can't remember, but
they're Pembrokes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'll just Sharpie in some flavor text
There you
about them on my copy.
Perfect.
Well, as I mentioned up top, we've done some Deck of Wonders videos before, so our viewers here may or may not have seen those. But I know that you've got the spiel down pat on what Deck of Wonders is, and why you should play it. Dennis, want to give us the 30-second version?
Man, why not? So Deck of Wonders is a solo legacy card game where Fate herself has stacked the deck against you. And I love deep strategic games. I also love tactical card games, games like Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering. But I also am a parent and have trouble getting away for those like deep strategic games for 6 hours and 8 players and 3,000 cubic feet of table space. So I wanted to recreate the experience of those games, but as a solitaire experience and as something that you could get out, set up, and play in 15 minutes. But also that would kind of grow with you, would evolve with you over time. And that's where the idea for Deck of Wonders comes from. So the story of the game is that the Deck of Wonders is a powerful magical artifact in this world created by the goddess of the world, Fate. And you've stolen it from her for whatever your motivations might have been. And she is understandably furious with you and upending the world around you trying to get it back, which includes sending all these villains after you who have their own motivations. So, you're just trying to get away and stay a step ahead of Fate. All the villains want to take the cards from you for, either for themselves or for Fate or for whatever reasons. And you have to battle with the Deck of Wonders to get away. Now the game works in a unique way, whereas in most card battlers like Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering, one person brings their deck, the opponent brings their deck, and the two decks kind of fight each other. In Deck of Wonders, every card has two sides, and all the cards, both yours and the villains, go into a single deck. And so you might draw the villain's card, and the villain might draw your card, and it will behave differently depending on where Fate decides it will show up. Beyond that, it should feel familiar to anyone who's played those games I mentioned. You're playing minions, you're casting spells, you're trying to control the battlefield and build up to your combo in your hand and all that stuff to defeat your opponents. But it takes place in this kind of grander story of you running away from Fate and kind of discovering what's going on in this world.
Right. And I had the privilege of playing a prototype of it back at the time of the Kickstarter and had a blast. Taught a friend on video, played it a bunch myself. But it was the prototype was pretty rough. Like the art was like 10% there, right? And there was kind of lots of things subject to change. And so it's been about a year since your Kickstarter, maybe a little more.
Almost, yeah, a year and like a week or so.
Oh wow! Okay, happy anniversary!
Yeah, on that it's an anniversary kind of time period for me.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Lauren has had a lot of time to work her magic since we did the Kickstarter.
Yes.
Awesome. So yeah, how's that year been? Like, what's the process? What do you? The Kickstarter ended. It was funded. It was a pretty solid success. Like, kind of what happened next?
Yeah. A lot of art creation. I'll let Lauren to speak to that. And then a lot of just play testing and refining on my side. The game from a design standpoint was very close to there, but it being a solo game, it's so easy to just playtest and playtest and playtest
Right.
and like nitpick everything. And so I've invested a lot of time into just getting it as polished as possible on that side, as well as running all of the business and manufacturer and distributor and all that stuff on the back end. But I mean, where this thing shines is what Lauren has been doing.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. It's a lot of art to make. And and as somebody who I really enjoy this process, and I really love just being able to play with this world and being able to build it out and do what I can do with it with my own style. It's been so much fun. It's been a ton of work, and it takes a long time because especially I work full time as well as doing this on the side. So after work, I take a break for 2 hours and then I come back to it and work on the art for this game. And it's just been an awesome experience. And Dennis has been, gracious the entire way. And, just like really been able to like come at it with like such like, his passion and his excitement. And we've really been able to elevate it to a level that I'm really happy with and I'm really proud of. So I'm super excited for it to be in people's hands and for them to be able to see all the hard work that we put into this game, because it was not insignificant. And I'm happy that we've been able to get it to this point, because at this point that we're talking now, all of the art is actually done. I'm actually wrapping up the remaining graphic design elements, which is all the little bits and bobs that have to go, inside the package. But all the cards are finished. And that was over, I think, 52, over 52?
Well over 50. Oh yeah, well over 50 pieces of art.
It
And
felt
not icons. Like for anyone who's coming to this fresh, the cards aren't icons. The cards are like Magic the Gathering art times 2, because every card is like inverted. And you'll see that when we get to the templates and everything. But Lauren has done an incredible job. And I think we talked about like, if you were doing a gallery show dedicated to your work, this would be complete overkill, the number of pieces.
It absolutely would be. Every wall would just be lined close together of all the art that I've made for this game. But like with just like with being able to work over this past year, and also my army of people who are doing flat colors for me, it's been it's been a really great experience, and I'm really glad to have gotten it, at least the art over the finish line. So. And the rest is about to be done too, and I'm super excited about that.
I know last time we talked, I expressed maybe even some mild skepticism that you could come up with over 50 like unique kind of twists, ways to do the tame and wild sides of the cards and everything. But you made it, huh? You
underestimate me. As a person who loves storytelling, this has been it's been a blast to actually come up with different ways of transformation and how the art can really change from one side to the other, and all the Easter eggs I've been able to hide in the cards, and all the little, mini narratives that I've been able to tell throughout all of this has been so much fun. And I'm just so excited for people to like be able to look closer at the cards and be able to see, it's like, wait a minute, like that is, hold on. Like just like being able to notice all those little things that I put thought into, but I don't know if people will notice, and whether they notice it or not is really, it's up to chance. But if one person notices it, I'll be happy.
I figure someone will notice almost everything, and then that's where you get the online or the face-to-face discussions. But hey, did you see that thing? Like people will love to point them out to each other, right? Like that's just super fun to share, and fun to be the one who found that thing that no one had seen yet. And I think that's a super cool element of the style and of the duality of the cards.
Absolutely, and that's why
it's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun because the way Lauren has woven not just like themes and motifs and color palettes together, but even like little subtle nods to different characters. Like there are stories that are told across the cards that are never alluded to like anywhere else. It's just complete Easter egg stories that are happening.
Awesome.
Which is just so much fun to like be like, oh, I saw that over here, and now it's that was bad for them, like or whatever. It's really, really fun. And like I mentioned, I want this to be a game that, you build a deck of cards and then it can just live in your pocket for a couple weeks while you play that. And, once you feel like you figured that out, you go build another deck and you play that. And so having it be something that does have that discoverability is a very marketing word, so I'm not going to use that. But like that you can get acquainted with on that deeper level over time is very central to what the game, or what I hope the game is.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, I've taken a look at the card that we're about to reveal for the first time here tonight, and a lot of the questions that came to my mind had to do with what is the story behind this character on the card, and kind of do they appear anywhere else? So I'm glad that you've led into it with that, so that we can have that kind of discussion. Unless you have any final thoughts or want to lead into the Necromancer in a specific way, I'm going to bring it up. Anything to add pre-card?
I don't know. I think let's do it. Let's world premiere it.
Let's do it.
All right,
it'll be most fun to talk about. Yeah.
There is the Necromancer.
Woo-hoo!
Who I love. This is and I've got it over on the screen next to me where I can flip back and forth between the two sides. So we have right now we're looking at it player side up, right? The as a player, this is a player minion.
Yes.
And so she enters play this side up if you play her from your hand, and if you flip her over, that's when Fate has enlisted her for the villain. And it looks like her necromancy, which I might have to ask you to explain to me what's going on kind of in the top, where I can see that there's some sort of giant skeleton standing next to her, and another undead creature over her shoulder. And then on the other side, we can see how they've turned against her, turned their focus in on her. We've got a whether it's the same really large giant or undead coming at her from just out of frame, and then that other creature to her other side turning in on her too. And I would say she looks worried, startled maybe.
Did not go as planned.
No. And I don't know why necromancy has such a solid track record. You know?
Yeah. That was actually an idea behind this card. Like when we were initially talking about it, was like everyone assumes that like you raise the undead and they're just down for whatever you want them to do. It's probably not that easy. And so that led to the flavor text and a lot of the inspiration behind the card of, raising the dead is easy. Controlling them is much more difficult.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Love the text.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, Lauren, bravo. This looks gorgeous. I love the way it is dark, and it's a dark, creepy color palette, yet still colorful somehow.
Yeah, it's it's a trick that I always do in all of my art. Even when things are dark, they're not. But this is definitely one of the darker paletted cards in this set. But it's fun because it's very it's necromancy themed. It's zombies. It has to feel a little bit creepy, but also with that whimsy that I love to weave into all of the cards that I've done for Deck of Wonders. So I wanted to make sure that was captured very much in this one. And this one was really fun too, because I got to design my very own version of a type of battle chair. And it's not exactly a battle chair, but from I believe it was Dungeons and Dragons has their own like kind of battle chair thing where
Sarah Thompson's work was a big inspiration for this character.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm not familiar, but yeah, so I did notice that
she's the one who she's the one who invented like the whole rule set and design for the D&D combat wheelchair. And there's since it's been featured in all sorts of different places, and there's a ton of minis that they've done for that. And one of the minis was like a spellcaster necromancer kind of person. I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be it. So,
awesome.
Yeah. And so that was really cool. And it was just like really fun to design, like, what kind of battle chair would this necromancer have, and what kind of necromancer even is she? And I really I had realized as I was designing all the characters that I hadn't gotten a chance to play with like really fun like hair colors, and I was like, oh, like she's kind of like a punk necromancer. She would definitely dye her hair pink, and and just like have this like really cool outfit that still is amongst the same kind of fashion style as the rest of the Byzantis set has, which you'll see in the other cards in that set once that's more are revealed. But I really want to kind of like make a cool, sleek chair, still some designs in it. There's also a slot, if you notice, above her for her staff to actually sit into. So like, I think it was described as like, it would be so cool. I believe we had a sensitivity reader and like, or a viewer, and you'd be like, oh, it'd be cool if like there was a place to put it. And I was like, that's an awesome idea. I'm definitely putting that in there.
I love that. Yeah, I had noticed kind of the pouch to her side, but that
Yeah.
the rack for her staff. I hadn't caught on to that. That's amazing.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
she has a place for her spell components and a place for her staff. So it's it's a kitted out chair ready to go for her.
I think
And
the
yeah.
specific quote from the sensitivity viewer was like, it would have like a very katana over the mantle vibe. I was like, oh yeah, we're keyed into that. That's excellent.
Excellent. Yeah, so I thought that was perfect. And yeah, around her is this, army of zombies from who knows where, because if you look, it's actually the large skeleton is actually just in the foreground, which is why it's bigger,
Mhm.
it's just perspective. So
Oh, that is just perspective.
it's
Okay,
just perspective.
okay.
Yeah. But
I misread that a little bit. My
oh
bad.
no, you're
Yeah.
totally fine. But yeah, like they're not like they're probably not the best army. They're a bit tattered. That one's just wearing a slipper. Like it's not great.
Yeah.
So it's just but it's so funny because she's so sleek and polished and put together, and then these her army is just garbage. But that's what you have to get. The dregs of whatever you can find with necromancy, and
Right.
so that was really fun to play with. And lastly is her power crystal, reflected in all three places in her staff, her chair, and her
Or
cloak.
right.
And so like that's basically what she uses to control them. And yeah, like that was basically the design of the tame side, and it was just so much fun to design the character, the chair, the creatures, and the bone staff that she's wielding. A real joy of a card to do for sure. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and I confess I'm not super on top of the latest in D&D lately, so I had not heard that term battle chair.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I had actually heard of it first. I watch Critical Role, the D&D show,
Yeah.
on YouTube, and one of the characters that show up later in campaign 2 is in a battle chair, and it's just that character is awesome. So like after hearing that this character would be in one, I was just like I was so excited to design my own version of one just after loving this character that Matt Mercer had created and made this world around. So yeah, it's really
Was
cool.
it that character was like a dwarf that was like super egg, or like it was like a warrior or barbarian kind of deal,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, well, he was a ranger.
Oh,
He
okay,
was
yeah.
Dagon, and just like this like gruff survivalist dude, like traveling out in the winter wastes. And he's just like the most awesome character. And they meet like this really dangerous group of adventurers, and he just disappears because he's so good at hiding. Like he's just a great character, just an absolute badass, and I just love love him so much.
It's fun to think about how like that type of character shows up versus like this is a very you're raising the dead and then hopefully making them do your bidding, maybe not, but
Yes.
like
Yeah.
just the range of looks to play with was really fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's like anybody, like would be like it's like it's just like the range of people who would who would need to use a battle chair in this fantasy setting is just limitless. And so I just love the idea of this like just cool punk necromancer in this chair, and she's just rocking it on this side at least. But but still, it's just like all these characters like, in this world are so varied and in their abilities and what they do and how they present themselves, and it's fun to design each and every one of them. So really really fun to do.
Well, and yeah, coming back a little bit to what we were talking about just before this, where you get to come up with these stories and hide Easter eggs and interrelationships between what's going on the cards. So I'm curious how much of a story this Necromancer has, whether it's in the canon of the game or just in your head, Lauren. Like, does she have a name? Did you decide how and why she's in a battle chair? Like, does that kind of backstory exist somewhere, or is it more intended for me and other players of the game to decide what that backstory might be?
I think I like it when players get to invent their own theory about, this character's history and what they go through. And I certainly have my own version of events for sure. With this one, I definitely thought a little bit about like, her personality, like what, like where she lives. I imagine some like remote cabin somewhere, but it's just like kitted out and like just full of like really cool things. But but I also love it when, I think we're on another reveal, and like I think they were just making up stories about what they thought, the
The
origin of
guard in sleep,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I was just like, that's so cool. Like I just love when people can do that. And this is definitely because this world is so rich and because there's so many things to look at. I didn't want to project too much of my own like, narrative on top of everything else, because I want people to be able to kind of look at it and just be like, okay, like what is this character story? Like where do they come from? if you're inclined to do that, I just think it's so much fun. But I definitely have my own version of Vince, but I don't want to tarnish it. I just like
I think
that
that version of storytelling is so unique to games. Like, I think there's not another medium that is so well suited to letting you interact with and kind of inhabit a character without forcing you to fill in all the details off the top. And so, like,
Right.
maybe your story around this character stems from how you feel about interacting with her in the game. Like, let's say this minion is really tough to deal with, or like always comes out at the worst time, that then starts to inform your story. One thing that is overt in the story is this set that she's in is connected to the Shardspire Mountains, and it's a mountain range that is covered in these crystals that actually have this kind of disorienting resonance to them. So it's super easy to get lost. It's super easy to fall to your death. And I love that the Necromancer is here, because it's like, of course she's in the Shardspire Mountains. There's a constant supply of troops, that she can access from there. So to Lauren's point about like, these might not be the most battle ready skeletons. Yeah, these are the adventurers that didn't make it. These are the worst adventurers.
these are the hikers who just got lost.
That's right. Yep.
The one in the foreground was just camping, and it was like sleeping, and so suddenly maybe an avalanche took him. Who knows? Wasn't ready. But yeah, also the power crystals as well are in ready demand, because the mountains are made of crystals. So that's where she got them from in the first place.
I was going to ask. Yeah. Great tie-in.
Oh yeah. So I think, every card in the Byzantis set has some hint of the crystal around, just because it's such a prominent theme in that motif, or in that biome, I guess, for Byzantis himself. And I definitely, that was me who snuck that in, because
100%.
Yeah, like because I love crystals. I love you'll see in each biome I have like different of my faves. So I love crystals, succulents, and mushrooms, and so each of those kind of appear in each of the biomes in their own ways. And and so that's definitely just a very much a me thing. But it became a Deck of Wonders thing, and I'm really happy that I was able to have that kind of agency around the art that I created. I got to put a lot of my own personality into it as well.
Yeah, and I think that's how you end up with a game with personality, right? Give someone who has great ideas and great creativity, lots of space to do what they do and to pour themselves into it, and that's clearly what's happened here, and I think it really pays off.
Thank you. Yeah.
I want to flip this. We've been on the tame side for the last few minutes.
We've only seen half the story.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So the other half, she's lost control. Actually, if you look closely, I know it's hidden behind the graphic design of the card, but her power crystal for her staff actually has broken, and now the skeletons are just like, oh, this is something right around us. This is tasty. Let's converge on this one who's right here. And my headcanon is that she actually gets out of the situation, but but you don't know that, and you can have your own kind of headcanon if you want to, but it's just kind of the dangers of harnessing such powerful dark magic is that it can always turn on you, and when it does, it's just worse than other kinds of magic. And so these, even though these are weary, not well-to-do travelers, they're still powerful in their own right, because they are the undead, and
what have they got to lose?
Exactly, they have nothing to lose. They were already a pile of bones. They have to become no big deal. So she has to figure out how she's going to get herself out of this situation with these undead converging on her, and so that was really fun to turn that on its head.
And just while you were talking about this, I noticed more details I hadn't seen yet. I until this moment, despite getting to look at this before we started recording, I hadn't noticed that there's a third undead peeking out from behind the chair. Right, with its kind of clawed fingers reaching over it.
Yes.
I love that. Your art tends to just reveal itself bit by bit as you look at it longer. Or in a card game, it might just mean the fifth time that card comes up. Oh, hey, something new. And that is a very fun experience to get over and over in a game.
That is definitely a fun goal of mine. And I'm so happy that you noticed that, because I was looking at this card again, and I only had the tame side up on my computer, but I didn't even remember that I put it in there. And I was like,
you mentioned there's more than 50 pieces of art.
Yeah, I have to look. I have to
Yeah.
look at so many things. So I'm just like, I don't remember even all the Easter eggs that I sneak into the cards. So when other people notice it before I get a chance to, when I'm looking, I'm just like, oh my god, like this is so cool. Like it's the coolest thing. So thank you for noticing my other undead that are in this smoke cloud, because like the mist is also meant to obscure. It's like there's probably more lurking in the darkness, but you
Right.
don't know. And then on this side, you see just like there's more, happening here. So kind of like a thriller moment for sure, where it's like, uh-oh.
Yes.
Oh Lord, they're coming.
You also get a better view on this side of the design of the wheel, which furthers that kind of punk theme.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All
Yeah,
the
that was-
space.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
as I'm awkwardly leaning out of frame to get a closer look on my other screen.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was sad 'cause I had to cover it up with the slipper on the tame side, but I was like, oh, I get
Yeah.
a chance to reveal it on the wild side, so that's good. I get to show it anyway because I was really happy with that cute, that like rim, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Hubcap? Is that the right? do battle chairs have hubcaps?
For the hubcap for the battle chair. It was a really fun design. So I was like, yeah, she would definitely, intentionally happily put that kind of very punk, kind of hard edge thing on her chair, because that's just the kind of character she is.
I know in kind of the forest biome Colin's cards, I think there were some iconography that showed up in multiple places on outfits and coins in one piece of art and things. Is this symbol on her wheel? Is that something that shows up in other places, or is that just her sigil?
No, that is her. That is all her. The things that do show up around Byzantis' set is definitely the motif in her boots and her top. Kind of like this very almost like geometric, kind of reflects the crystals around the Stratspire Mountains in their fashion. The actual people who make residence there, the hikers obviously are not such a one, but any wizard that you see, any person who resides clearly in those mountains have this motif throughout all their clothes and outfits. And I don't know if you noticed that, Dennis, but it's definitely it's pretty prominent. So you'll see those themes show up again and again. The crystals are another thing that shows up too. But
and you can see the icon for Byzantis' set is in the next to the card's name there, which you can see those diamonds right in
that.
Yeah.
And
it
so
evokes the crystal right there. Yeah.
There
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the crystal in the back of the chair there is one of the more overt ones, but you'll see that in like jewelry here and there, or just like subtly all over the place.
Oh yeah, the diamond motif is everywhere. And also that motif in the set icon is actually, it reflects two things. It reflects the crystal, and it also reflects the kind of Byzantis' magic. So because he has 4 dominated summoners, which if you've seen any of the other cards, you'll see, you'll kind of like see what Byzantis has in his art. Those like 4 diamonds represent the 4 summoners, but it's also like how his magic manifests. So it's another, like this is so much to the villain as well. So got to play with a lot of those shapes and kind of weaving those themes throughout all the cards and an icon. So
very cool.
I like leitmotifs. That's a musical one, but but I enjoy that in art as well.
Yeah, that's you lost me there. I don't know the term.
It's basically like if you I think if you like hear like a reprise of something like in a Disney like musical or any musical really, and it has kind of like the same like theme that is throughout, but it's a different song. That's a example of a leitmotif. So it's kind of like that, but visually. I like to really get to see recurring patterns and themes throughout a set that's supposed to be related and make sense together. And that's just something that gives me joy. And I hope that people can see those in these cards that I've designed as well.
Well, and
Sorry,
I
think we will.
Now I feel really self-conscious.
No, I was about to say that it resonates especially well with just kind of the story of Deck of Wonders. Like fate is an entity in this world, and she is kind of stringing things together in a way that people don't notice initially. And she's very, you never see fate directly in the game. She's always a step removed. She's always not quite within grasp.
She's kind of like that puppet master almost, right?
Exactly. And so the way that things kind of will visually connect, and it doesn't just make things look cool, like that is what this world is things are woven together in a way more intentional way that you can't quite put your finger on. And like I see the motifs that Lauren weaves in visually, as reinforcing that from a thematic standpoint just as well.
How cool is that that the way Lauren approaches this and the way that she enjoys and wants to have the viewers enjoy this art with all these through lines, like plays right into kind of the story and the theme of the game in such a direct way. That's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it appeals to me so much, I think. It's very much my flavor of narrative and game. And so I think that's why one of the reasons why me and Dennis had worked so well together is because a lot of the things that we enjoy and like to see are things that we were able to put directly into this game. So
that's how you trick one individual into doing 50 pieces of art.
You didn't. I signed up for it.
Lauren, this has all the things that you like.
You're right. And then you told me some extra stuff too that I don't know if I can talk about right now, but I was just like, Dennis, why are you doing this to me? I said I was gonna rest after this.
Oh yes, there's.
Oh boy.
I have grand designs, not unlike Fate herself. So we'll see where this goes. Yeah, I think it's so funny. Like all these really serendipitous things have happened around art creation and just stuff with the game. It's like you can get in your head, be like, ooh, Fate there. But Lauren chose purple hair for this, and maybe this was intentional and I just didn't realize, but my wife Jen has purple hair. And so I saw it, I was like, oh, that's so perfect. Like, I just that made me love this character that much more.
Oh yeah. It wasn't intentional, but I do think it's really cool that it just happened. There are no coincidences.
That's a great tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, all right, awesome. Well, let me take it back to us, and we can probably wrap this up. I love chatting with you guys. I know that particularly when Dennis and I sat down to look at some of the individual cards, we went a long time.
Yeah, we can't do that again without a couple more beers, I think.
Oh, yeah.
No, and we're recording this at. I mean, I'm down for a couple beers if you are.
Oh boy,
we are pretty evenly spread across the country here.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is. I think almost midnight your time. So
that's when I come alive. That's when things kick.
Oh,
off,
okay.
You know,
the Night Owl Squad. I like it.
I've got to. This is when the kids are asleep.
That's prime time then, right there.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much for hosting us. Like it's so fun to come on your show and thank you for giving us the platform to talk about this stupid little game that is so exciting to us.
Yeah, it's my total pleasure. I'm so glad that you reached out, and both of you are a joy to talk with, and both show such passion in your game and your art. It's this smile's been plastered on my face the whole time. Like it's
good.
Likewise, thank you so much for letting me geek out.
It's a true joy. Yeah, of course, anytime. I mean, I think we covered last time our shared joy of Zelda at the very
end. Right.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yes.
This is actually from when I was at Gen Con. Actually,
is that a card design? Does that reverse?
Yeah. I believe it does.
Oh, it's
nice.
It's like a
it's very much like in theme. I know I have to like pull it all the way up. It's like very much in theme with Deck of Wonders, which I didn't. That wasn't intentional, but I did intentionally wear this shirt because I wanted to rep, Gen Con a little bit to pay homage to where we first met.
Right.
Too cool.
Great. Well, so what's it looking like for Deck of Wonders? I know in some of the you're still open for late pledges, right? So if anyone is learning about it for the first time here and wants to check it out, that's available. And then
you can get some really cool stuff in the late pledges too. So we are doing a digital art book with all this amazing art. That comes normally it'll be I think $20. It comes free with the game when you late pledge. As well as because the game did so well, we were able to do the story sections of the game through Foreteller, which I don't know if you've heard of them or interacted with them, but they do fully produced like radio drama quality audio to go with the story.
I've heard of that only because of your backer update.
Very cool.
I was looking at that recently. I hadn't heard of it. It reminds me of I'm a big Arkham Horror the card game player. And the kind of the biggest podcast around that game, they took it upon themselves as a Patreon bonus to that game has tons of text and narrative to read. They recorded it all.
That's awesome.
With sound effects and music and all that, and it's there for their patrons, and I've really enjoyed that. Like, it's great to be able to listen to that moody narrative like while you set up the game, right? Like you can kind of multitask, or just let it set the mood. It's really cool. So is that that's roughly what Foreteller is?
That is, you've got it exactly right. Like you said, it's everything from like music to sound effects to voice actors. Like, and it's a international cast. Like I don't know if Lauren, we've talked about this. We found the voice actress for Aurora. She's from Nairobi, and just has like the most amazing voice and accent. It's like, it's so cool the way it's all coming together.
It's not just audiobook style. It's not just a person like maybe reading dialogue or voices. It is a full-on cast.
There is a narrator, but every villain is fully voiced.
That's awesome.
They had some fun with it as I'm getting stuff back.
Yes.
But that audio normally is just under $5. You get that for free if you late pledge. And then finally you get the print and play files for the game, which normally on their own are $10. You get that for free when you late pledge. And so essentially, if you go late pledge for this game, which late pledges should be open through October-ish. As we figure out exactly what happens with shipping and all that, I might be able to hold it open for longer, but I can confidently say it will be open through October. If you late pledge, you get all those three things given with the game. As kind of a thank you for jumping in early.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're looking at early next year for release now, it looks like. I know that global shipping is a complete train wreck right now.
It is, yeah. That's
mostly figuratively, a little bit literally.
Yeah. It's a Suez Canal wreck or whatever. So there's so much uncertainty that things could move backwards or forwards in large increments, and you can never be sure. But I am planning towards a February release. So February 2022 is when it should, I say release, that's when it should be arriving in people's hands. And so if you've late pledged, that's when you'll get it, and that's when they'll start showing up then at retailers and everything like that. Oh, and you will be able to get a copy of this game. We had wonderful publisher partners come by. You'll be able to get a copy of this game in Spanish. So there'll be physical Spanish language copies of this game available. Again, just partially through how well the Kickstarter did and the amazing support this has gotten from the community, we were able to do all these things. And I'm looking at plans to get it into other languages as well. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to be able to check out Deck of Wonders.
Well, and this you went through that pretty quickly, but I don't think I knew for sure. So this will be available at retail eventually.
Yes, and that'll be, it'll be through kind of mom and pop shops and stuff like that. It's not showing up at Target that I know of, or anything like that. Yeah. But yeah, there were retailer pledge levels and got some good traction there. And certainly anyone who's watching this, who's a video game retailer, can reach out, and there should be options ongoing for that.
Awesome. So late pledge to get all the goodies, but if you want to wait, keep an eye on it, and there'll be ways to get it when it releases too. Awesome. Well, just before we go, I know that both of you are up to a lot. Like, Lauren, do you want to plug anything else? I know you have a Patreon.
I have a Patreon. It's been a little neglected because I've been so busy with Deck of Wonders.
It's my fault.
I do. Oops. But I do have a Patreon at labillustration.patreon.com. And I also have a podcast that is almost at its year anniversary called Painted in Color. It's an art advice podcast if you're into art. And that's been, going on YouTube pretty strong, which is pretty exciting. And you can find me anywhere on social media under Lab Illustration, LAB Illustration, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Etsy as well. And keep looking out, and there might be some Deck of Wonders goodies, somewhere as well available. So, and this is Prius. Say hi to Prius.
We've seen Prius here and there, I think. Through a lot of this video. Hi, Prius.
Yeah, she's baby, but yeah, that's about it. I've been very busy, and it's all exciting stuff. So check me out, and if you like my work, follow me, please.
I know I do, and I do like your work, and I do follow you.
Thank you.
How about you, Dennis? Anything else?
Yeah, Deck of Wonders is the big thing. So you
Mhm.
can follow Deck of Wonders on socials. I'm sure we'll have links associated with the video for that I'll make sure you
Yes.
have. And you can go to deckofwondersgame.com if you want kind of the blog version of what's going on. And I'm starting to ramp up on a couple different things. So one really cool thing that's happened is I've been teaching a class in the gaming realm, but on the video game side for Miami University
Oh.
on the business of video games. So I've been
Oh,
doing
wow.
that as well. It's
Okay.
really cool to be doing that and thinking on that level. But I think that has made me even more excited to continue trying things in the gaming realm. Nothing to announce just yet, but I'm definitely
Sure.
working on more projects.
Very cool. I'm excited to see what you do next.
Mhm.
But hurry up and get me my copy of Deck of Wonders, please.
Coming as fast as
We're doing
the
as fast
global
as I
shipping
can.
infrastructure will allow it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, all of those links that all those links and projects that you shared, I'll make sure that we get links to them and information about them in the description to the video. And yeah, with that, I think we'll call it a night. Thank you both so much. This was always a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching. If you've just found Optimal Play for the first time by following Deck of Wonders or Lauren, welcome. We do a lot of stuff like this where we talk about games, and we also do lots of playthroughs of games that we have a lot of fun with, where we edit them down. So we cut out all the boring stuff and have a good time getting through some board games and card games. All over the channel. So if you'd like and subscribe to Optimal Play, I'd appreciate that as well. I don't really have any other. This is my side project. I don't have anything else to plug. So.
Pretty good side project.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have fun with it. Yeah, with that, we'll sign off. Thank you both. Till next time, everyone. Be optimal.
Bye, everybody.